Hello everybody, I'm Angela with Happy Little Stitch Shop, and today we are kicking off our Let It Snow quilt along. Let It Snow is this beautiful quilt featuring the Snowed In fabric collection by Heather Peterson for Riley Blake Designs. And we are hosting Happy Little Stitch Shop is hosting a quilt along for this quilt, and we are kicking it off today, and I can't wait to get this started with you. I think it's going to go together really smoothly, fingers crossed, and I think this is going to be a quick finish for us, so that's the hope. So the plan for this quilt along is we're going to do a section this week, and then next week on Monday or possibly Tuesday because of the holiday over the weekend. But on Monday or Tuesday next week, I'll post information for week 2, and then we'll do a week 3, and then we'll do a week 4 to finish it up. And my hope is after, 4-ish weeks, we will have a finished quilt top on our hands. And that is so exciting. This quilt top is so darling. As soon as I saw trees and houses, I knew that it was a must do for a quilt along. And after some encouragement from our Happy Little Stitch Shop community, we decided to go ahead and jump in and offer it. So I'm really, really excited to get this started with you. So first thing, you're gonna need your pattern, which came in your Happy Little Stitch Shop Let It Snow quilt kit. So this is what your quilt kit will look like. You have a layer cake in there, you have some other yardage, and then in the back, you have the pattern in your kit as well. So grab your quilt kit. You're also going to need a triangle ruler. There is a template in the pattern that you can, trace out onto some cardboard and make your own template if that's what you want. But I did get some triangle rulers to have in the shop for those people who like to use acrylic rulers like I do. So if you want this, it's in the shop at happylittlestitchshop.com. I will link it below. Otherwise, you can make your template out of the template in the pattern. So you'll need your quilt kit and you'll need your triangle ruler for this quilt, and then just under other general quilting supplies, rulers, rotary cutter, all of that. I am using my alphabetties as well. So my alphabetties are in here. They're coming in handy. And I'll show you why in just a minute. But I'm doing this with you at the same time. I'm not doing it ahead of time, so I'm going to be quilting right along with you. And as we go through and make this quilt, please be sure that you share all of your progress on social media. Use hashtag Happy Little Stitch Shop, and also use hashtag Let It Snow QAL. So Let It Snow QAL. And then everybody who's sewing along with us will be able to see everybody's progress, and that helps it feel more like a community sewing together. So please be sure to share. So first thing you're going to want to do to get started with this quilt along is grab your pattern and go have a seat and just read through it. I did this yesterday. I read through the whole pattern. Don't get freaked out like I did when I read about applique. At first I was like, what? This is an applique quilt? I didn't know that. I thought it was all piecing. It is all piecing. The only applique that you can do if you choose to do, but you do not have to do, is, as you can see on the front cover, these stars are added. Those stars are the only applique pieces that you can do if you choose to. I am not going to do that. But if you choose to, you can do that. And it's just fusible applique with a zigzag stitch around the edge if you choose to do that. I'm not going to be adding the stars. And also worth noting, the kit that you got is making the white version of this, not the aqua version. So you have your background. Anytime it refers to aqua background, you will use white background for that. So first thing, grab your pattern, go sit down, have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a cold drink, and read through your pattern, and then come on back and we'll move on to the first step. Okay, everybody, did you have a chance to read through your pattern and kind of map out in your head the way that this quilt is going to come together for us? So I did. The first thing that's worth noting is for this first week, we're going to focus mainly on section 1 of the pattern, which is putting together the tree trunks for the quilt. We might go over a little bit into section 2 because section 2 is quite a bit more involved and will take up more time than section 1. So I'm going to try to add a little bit of section 2 onto this week so then we don't have so much to do next week. So, but mainly the focus is going to be getting our tree trunks together for this quilt. So if you'll notice in section 1, there's some cutting that we have to do to cut up our strips. And if you want to take a peek, I have gone through and I have cut up our strips for step 1, step 2, and step 3. This is where the alpha biddies come in handy to keep your strips straight. And what you're going to do is, let me move these out of the way. We are just going to put one of our white strips on the top and on the bottom with the brown strip in the middle. And we're going to sew these strips together into one piece. And you're going to do that for each of these pieces. So this one's going to have a top and a bottom with the brown in the middle. And we're going to sew that one together too. And then the same thing with number 3. So you can go ahead and take your strips to your sewing machine and sew together the 3 pieces for your strip set 1, strip set 2, and strip set 3. And then we will come back and we will move on to cutting those strips up for our tree trunks. So how did your piecing go? Did you get your strips all pieced together? For me, it was important to make sure I kept my numbers with my strips so that I didn't get them mixed up. So let's take a peek. Here are my strips for step 1, and then I have my strips pieced together for number 2 and then for number 3. So as soon as I got them pieced together, I didn't want to mix up which was which, so I just keep my alpha biddies on there so that I know what is what. Now it is time for us to cut these into separate pieces. So you're going to take your strip set number 1, and this one you are going to cut into 3-inch pieces, and all of this is in the pattern. So you're just going to get it lined up and follow the pattern and cut all of your step 1 pieces out. So go ahead and cut your first strip, and then we'll come back and we'll take a peek at getting started for cutting your second strip. Okay guys, I got all of my strips cut for our first strip, for strip number 1. Let's take a peek. Here are all of the, you're supposed to get 7 of them, and I got 7 of them. So I must be doing something right so far. I'm going to keep my number 1 on there so that I know that those are for number 1. I did have a little bit of an extra cut left over. I'm just going to set this aside and keep it in case I need to. Now we will move on to our strip number 2. And we will start cutting these. Don't want that to be shown. We'll start cutting these. So go ahead and grab your strip number 2 and just start cutting all of this according to the pattern. And then we'll come back and we'll move on to strip number 3. Okay, I got my second strip all cut up. Let's take a look. This one we needed to have 8 sections, and so I got all of my 8 with a little bit left over. I'm keeping my number 2 on top so that I know which is which. Now we're going to start cutting up our third strip. Move these out of the way a little bit. Get those lined up and cut up. I believe we need to get 11 of these. Again, just cut according to your pattern directions. And go ahead and cut up all of your strips from strip number 3, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what's next. And please stay tuned until the end. I'm shaking my rotary cutter at you. Stay tuned until the end because there are some prize opportunities. I really want to have fun with you guys while we go through this quilt along and make this quilt. So I'm trying to think of fun ways to make it enjoyable virtually. And so there are going to be weekly prize opportunities. So I will give you all the details at the end of this video. So be sure you stay tuned till the end. So go ahead and cut up strip 3 and we'll come right back. Okay, so we're all done cutting up strip 3, which means that we are done cutting up our tree trunks. Look how easy that first section was. Let's take a peek at our tree trunks that we cut up. I'm keeping my numbers with it so I know which is which. But here we have set 1, set 2, and set 3. These are going to be our really short tree trunks, and some taller ones, medium and tall. But our tree trunks are all done, and that is it for section 1. Now, if you want to move into section 2 and start doing the cutting for our tree tops, feel free to do that. I will go through that in the next video. I'm not going to do mine ahead of time because if I cut stuff up and then I walk away from it, then I'm kind of like, what? It takes me a little bit to get back into the rhythm of it. So I like to just cut and kind of keep going with the flow of that step. So I'm going to go through the cutting in the next video, but if you're the type of person that you like to have some of that stuff done ahead of time, feel free to go ahead and do that. Now, I'm really excited about this quilt along because I think it's going to come together really quickly, and I feel like there's nothing more satisfying than a really quick finish, and it's an adorable quilt. I'm so excited about this. Now, we have a giveaway that we are going to do. We will do a drawing and announce the winner for this giveaway next week during next week's video, so be sure you plan to tune in every week. Here's what you need to do in order to qualify for the giveaway. Step 1, you need to subscribe to our Happy Little Stitch Shop YouTube channel. Step 2, you should follow Happy Little Stitch Shop on either Instagram or Facebook or both. And then step 3, as you're making your tree trunks this week, use hashtag Happy Little Stitch Shop and hashtag Let It Snow QAL so that I can see all of your progress throughout the week. And every time I see someone use the hashtag, you will be entered into a drawing to win a prize for next week. Again, the winner will be announced during the next video. Now, here's the other stipulation in order to be entered into the drawing. You need to have reserved or bought your Let It Snow quilt kit from Happy Little Stitch Shop. And the reason for that is because then I can know that you're a legit quilter participating in our quilt along, if that makes sense. So I have everybody who purchased kits from me, I have it in the system. I have a list so I can cross-check it and know that you're a legitimate participant in this quilt along, and that it will be a fair giveaway going to someone who, you know, is joining us and joining our community for this quilt along. So once you follow all of those guidelines, you will be entered into a drawing. Every time you use those hashtags and share your progress throughout this week, you'll be entered into a drawing to win this Snowed In fabric bundle. This is the collection we're working with, and so this is the Snowed In collection from Heather Peterson for Riley Blake Designs, and you will win this bundle, and I will mail it out to you as soon as we draw the name. So you should have all of your posts in by Sunday, like the end of the day, July 4th, because we're going to be prepping the next video to release either Monday or Tuesday, because the holiday over the weekend could throw that off a little bit. But the next video for week 2 will be posted Monday or Tuesday. So to be entered into the drawing, you should be sure you have your posts out there by the end of the day, Sunday. So I hope that helps. I hope you are excited to quilt this quilt with me. Good luck making your tree trunks. This first step should go really, really lickety-split and super easy for everybody. So reach out if you have any questions, but otherwise have fun making your tree trunks, and we will come back and we will get started with section 2, which will be our tree tops for next week. But have fun making those tree trunks this week, and please be sure to share your progress. Be sure to follow Happy Little Stitch Shop on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And of course, check out all of our quilting and cross-stitching goodies at happylittlestitchshop.com. And I will see you again in a week to work on the next step for this quilt along. Have a great week, everybody. Happy stitching. Take care.